Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hey guys, and welcome to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Cynthia, and happy, what day is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope you all are having a very strong start to your day and are just killing it, all right? I am hanging in there, to be honest. I feel like I'm a little bit sleep deprived, but it's okay. Again, I'm trying to get used to this new schedule of mine. As most of you know, I teach fitness classes, group fitness classes, and here in California, it has now been mandated that all fitness centers have to close, which is really unfortunate, but just, trying to keep things positive. And, the gyms that I work at, they're trying to work around this order, and we're doing outdoor classes, outdoor boot camp, outdoor bar classes. So it should be interesting because I've never taught an outdoor boot camp class or an outdoor bar class. So I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous. I feel like I always get nervous whenever it's like my first day teaching something new, or like my first day. I don't know. I still always get nervous, even though it's like I know what to do for exercise and I feel comfortable in, the exercise selection that I choose and everything. But I don't know why I still get a little bit nervous as to, what to do. And I don't know. It's also, the clients as well. They're not used to me. They're used to the other instructors and trainers who've been there for a lot longer than I have. So I don't know. Maybe it's in my head. I still feel like I'm like the new kid in school. So I don't know. It's just me. It could be just me like getting too in my head and all of that. So I know some of you may understand where I'm coming from, and others are like, oh, girl, what are you saying? So anyway, with all of that being said, I'm here to talk about stretching, give you stretching 101, stretching for dummies. No, I'm kidding. I'm not calling you guys dummies, but you get me. Stretching for novices. I think that stretching is so incredibly vital to one's overall health as far as physical health. If you take yoga classes or do Pilates, even bar, they add in elements of stretching, to lengthen the muscles, lengthen the joints, and it provides, relief as well. And I feel like stretching is something that a lot of people don't take seriously, kind of skip over. And I think the reason why I wanted to talk about stretching specifically is because I filmed a YouTube video about a week or so ago, and it's about mobility. And in that video, I was showing, viewers of my mobility warm up, which included basically like stretches, elongating the muscles, prepping them. So that's basically what we're going to get into today as far as why stretching is so important, why do people do it, and the different types of stretches. There's different types of stretches. We'll get into the difference between static stretching, dynamic stretching. To be honest, before I got into the fitness game and became an instructor, I really didn't know. Like, I knew stretching because I was a cheerleader prior. I was a cheerleader for 10 seasons. So obviously, we have to be flexible in our kicks and our jumps. So I stretched every day, but I didn't really understand the why and as far as the different types of stretches and which stretches are useful for which specific person for their goals and everything. So there's a lot to stretching, you guys. It's not just black and gray or black and white. There's like some gray area. And I'm here to tell you today, basically stretching, why do you need it, the different types, and how to effectively and safely stretch. Believe it or not, you can actually hurt yourself and injure yourself more stretching. So we're going to get into all of that and how to prevent that. And like I said, exercise, an important part of exercise is stretching. Stretching should be in everyone's workout routine, exercise regimen. And be honest with yourself. Does stretching take a back seat to your personal exercise routine? I want to know. Let me know in the comments. No judgment here. Stretching, you guys, can help you improve your joint range of motion. It can improve your athletic performance, and it can decrease your risk of injury. So I'm going to be here to help you guys understand why stretching can help and how to stretch correctly. So there have been studies, many studies about the benefits of stretching, and there's also been studies of stretching and they've had mixed results. Some research shows that stretching doesn't reduce muscle soreness after exercise, and other studies show that lengthening the muscle and holding the stretch immediately before a sprint may slightly worsen performance. And I've actually heard about this as well, that when you lengthen the muscle for too long, right before you're about to sprint or jump or do an explosive movement, that can actually hinder your performance rather than heighten it. And that's because, in my opinion, I think, or a fact, when you hold the stretch for too long prior to these explosive movements where you need to exert 90% force or effort, the muscle becomes too relaxed. So when the muscle becomes too relaxed before these explosive movements, then that's how performance worsens. And again, I'll get into more detail about how exactly that happens in the later segments of today's show. So with all of that being said, research has shown that stretching can help improve flexibility and the range of motion of your joints. So what does better flexibility mean, and why do we need better flexibility? It's not just if you're a cheerleader or, a gymnast. You don't need to, stretching's not only good to have high jumps or to kick really high or to do the splits. Better flexibility means that it may improve your performance in physical activities. It may decrease your risk of injuries. It may help your joints move through their full range of motions, and it may enable your muscles to work more efficiently. Stretching also increases blood flow to the muscle, and you may learn to enjoy the ritual of stretching before or after hitting the trail, ballet floor, or soccer field. So there are stretches that you should do prior to the workout, and then there's stretches that you should do post-workout. So what are some stretching essentials? There are some things that you guys should know. Before you plunge into stretching, make sure you do it safely and effectively. While you can stretch anytime, anywhere with zero equipment, proper technique in stretching is key. Just like how you would need proper technique and form in exercise, in your lifts, your big compound movements like squats, etc. Same thing applies to stretches. Proper technique still needs to be applied. And stretching incorrectly can actually do more harm than good. So we're going to come to a very brief break right now. And when we come back, I'm going to share with you guys tips to keep stretching safe.
Are you looking to learn more about the latest trends from the fitness world? Are you confused by all of the different trends that are out there? The GSMC Fitness Podcast is the place for you. The GSMC Fitness Podcast is the place to come for people of all skill and interest levels. Join us as we explore the latest trends in the fitness world. Does that new exercise really work? Should I try yoga? Whatever your question, chances are good you'll find an answer on the GSMC Fitness Podcast.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So right before the break, I told you guys I was going to share some tips on how to effectively and safely stretch, because believe it or not, just because stretching is low impact, it's not explosive, you're not jumping, doesn't mean that you still can't hurt yourself while doing so. So, number one tip. Don't consider stretching a warm-up, okay? Don't just sit there and stretch out your muscles prior to your lifts. You may hurt yourself if you stretch cold muscles. And before stretching, warm up with either light walking, jogging, or biking at low intensity for 5 to 10 minutes. And even better, stretch after your workout when your muscles are warm. So consider skipping stretching before an intense activity such as sprinting or track and field activities for my athletes out there. Some research suggests that pre-event stretching may actually decrease performance, and research has also shown that stretching immediately before an event weakens hamstring strength. And for my sprinters out there, you do not want to go in to your event with weak hamstrings, okay? Or, for my basketball players, soccer players, anybody out there, your hamstrings are a vital part in those activities. And your hamstrings are one of the largest muscles that make up your posterior chain. Your posterior chain, including your calves, hamstrings, your back, your glutes, your entire backside basically of the body. So when your hamstrings are weak and you have to sprint for, say, a track and field event, you're not going to be at your most optimal self because you stretched before going into the run or into the sprint and you stretch cold muscles. So again, if you're about to do a big event like that, do some light walking, jogging, or biking, low intensity cardio. Next tip is to strive for symmetry. Everyone's genetics or flexibility are a bit different. Rather than striving for the flexibility of a dancer or a gymnast or a cheerleader, focus instead on having equal flexibility side to side, especially if you have a history of a previous injury. So flexibility that is not equal on both sides may be a risk factor for injury. So definitely, focus on lengthening both sides of the body evenly. Next, focus on major muscle groups. So when stretching, concentrate your stretches on major muscle groups such as your calves, your quads, your hip flexors, your lower back, your neck and shoulders. And make sure, again, that you stretch both sides, not just, the side that you feel really sore in or that you feel really tight in. Next. Also, forgot to mention, stretch your muscles and joints that you routinely use. So basically all of those that I just mentioned, your neck, your shoulders, your legs, your glutes, lower back, basically almost everything, especially if you work at a desk for the majority of the day or you're typing a lot. Naturally, our bodies now with technology, they're literally pulling us forward. People are starting to have more hunched shoulders. Their back sides are becoming less active. And that creates bad posture. That creates discomfort. So definitely stretch it out to help relieve some of that discomfort. Next tip is to not bounce. So stretch in a smooth movement without bouncing. And bouncing as you stretch it can injure your muscle and actually contribute to muscle tightness. So say, for example, you're sitting in a straddle, right? So straddle is legs, you're sitting on your butt, legs are open, and you're reaching for your toes. And you shouldn't bounce. So it should be one smooth movement and hold. Which leads to my next tip is to hold your stretch. Breathe normally and hold each stretch for about 30 seconds in problem areas. So areas that you feel really tight in, you feel a lot of discomfort in, such as your hips, back, etc. And you may need to hold for around 60 seconds. But holding your stretches, you guys, I would recommend for you to do that post-workout, not pre-workout, post-workout. Hold a stretch post-workout, not before. Also, really important tip, don't aim for pain, okay? It shouldn't hurt when you stretch, you guys. Expect to feel tension while you're stretching, but not pain. If it hurts, you've pushed too far and you need to regress. So back off to the point where you don't feel any pain, then hold the stretch. Also, make stretches sport specific. Some evidence suggests that if it's helpful to do stretches involving the muscles used the most in your sport or activity. If you play soccer, for instance, stretch your hamstrings as you're more vulnerable to hamstring strains, right? Because you're running and your hamstrings are literally helping you move forward. Also, keep up with your stretching, right? Stay consistent. Don't just stretch on a Monday and then revisit then the following Monday. You want to be stretching almost every day. Stretching can be time consuming, I won't lie. But you can achieve the most benefits by stretching regularly, at least 2 to 3 times a week, you guys. And skipping regular stretching means you risk losing the potential benefits. For instance, if stretching helped you increase your range of motion now may decrease again if you stop stretching. So just because you acquire that range of motion through stretching, just as you acquired it, you can lose it. And then my final tip is to bring movement into your stretching, aka dynamic stretching. Gentle movements such as those in Tai Chi or yoga, those can help you be more flexible in specific movements. These types of exercises can also help reduce falls in older adults. Remember the dynamic warm-up. If you're going to perform a specific activity, such as a kick in martial arts or kicking a soccer ball, start out slowly and at low intensity to get your muscles used to it. Then speed up gradually. So those are my main tips as far as how to effectively and safely stretch your muscles. And know when to exercise with caution. If you have a chronic condition or an injury, you might need to adjust your stretching techniques. Not all of us are going to have the same stretching ritual or stretching techniques. For example, if you already have a strained muscle, stretching it may cause further harm. So, like always, talk to your doctor or physical therapist about the most appropriate way to stretch if you have any health concerns. Also, remember that stretching doesn't mean you can't get injured. Stretching, for instance, won't prevent an overuse injury. So, if you had a really bad injury, stretching alone is not going to help, and solve all of that. So, these are just things, you guys, to keep in mind when developing a flexibility or a stretching program. Talk to your doctor, your physical therapist, or, even your personal trainer. Talk to someone who's qualified to write you a stretching routine or, program. Especially if trainers have a corrective exercise emphasis or specialization in corrective exercise, then you definitely want to talk to those trainers, because this is literally like what they specialize in, is in training, injury prevention, or not. Obviously, all personal trainers are specialized in training. They're personal trainers, but I mean, injury prevention, how to properly warm up, cool down, what techniques to use, what exercises to avoid, all of that. So you guys, I'm going to come to a very brief break, and when we come back, more on stretching.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to a GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So we're going to continue on with the conversation of flexibility and the amazing benefits you gain from improving your flexibility and adding a stretching program to your exercise routine. Flexibility is one of the 5 components of fitness. So stretching, again, should be an integral part of every workout program. So I'm about to share with you guys 10 reasons for why you should always take the time to stretch. First one is because it decreases muscle stiffness and increases range of motion. Stretching helps improve your range of motion, which may also slow the degeneration of your joints. 2, it may also reduce your risk of injury. A flexible muscle is less likely to become injured if you have to make a sudden move. By increasing the range of motion in a particular joint through stretching, you can decrease the resistance on your body's muscles during various activities. 3, it helps relieve post-exercise aches and pains. And after a hard workout, Stretching your muscles helps keep them loose and lessens the shortening and tightening effect that can lead to post-workout aches and pains. 4. It improves posture. Stretching the muscles of the lower back, shoulders, and chest helps keep your back in better alignment and improves your posture. 5. Flexibility training helps reduce or manage stress. Well-stretched muscles hold less tension and therefore can help you feel less stressed. 6. It reduces muscular tension and enhances muscular relaxation. Chronically tense muscles tend to cut off their own circulation, resulting in a lack of oxygen and essential nutrients. Stretching allows your muscles to relax. 7. It improves mechanical efficiency and overall functional performance. Because a flexible joint requires less energy to move through a wider range of motion, a flexible body improves overall performance by creating the more energy efficient movements. 8. It prepares the body for the stress of exercise. Stretching prior to exercise allows your muscles to loosen up and become better able to withstand the impact of the activity you choose to do. 9. Promotes circulation. Stretching increases blood supply to your muscles and joints, which allows for greater nutrient transportation and improves the circulation of blood through your entire body. And lastly, 10. It decreases the risk of low back pain. Flexibility in the hamstrings, hip flexors, and muscles attached to the pelvis releases stress on the lumbar spine, which in turn reduces your risk of low back pain. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't really understand, is that everything on your backside is connected. A lot of times people think, they have low back issues and assume it's their low back that needs fixing. But in reality, your low back, those muscles attached to your your lumbar spine are attached to your hips, which are attached to your hamstrings, which are attached to your ankles. So it's all interconnected. So that's why it's really important that your posterior chain is in tip-top shape. You have the required range of motion to move freely and pain-free. So there are many benefits to regular stretching, and not only can stretching help increase your flexibility, which is an important factor of fitness, but it can also improve your posture, reduce stress and body aches, and so much more. So again, as far as it increasing your flexibility, regular stretching can help increase your flexibility, which is crucial for your overall health. Not only can improved flexibility help you to perform everyday activities with relative ease, but it can also help delay the reduced mobility that can come with aging. It can also increase your range of motion. Being able to move a joint through its full range of motion gives you more freedom of movement. Stretching on a regular basis can help increase your range of motion. One study found that both static and dynamic stretching are effective when it comes to increasing range of motion, although proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, also known as PNF type stretching, where you stretch a muscle to its limit, may be more effective for immediate gains. Flexibility also improves your performance in physical activities. Performing dynamic stretches prior to physical activities have been shown to help prepare your muscles for the activity. It may also help improve your performance in an athletic event or exercise. 4. It increases blood flow to your muscles. Performing stretches on a regular basis may improve your circulation. Improved circulation increases blood flow to your muscles, which can shorten your recovery time and reduce muscle soreness. It also can help improve your posture. Muscle imbalances are common and can lead to poor posture. One study found that a combination of strengthening and stretching specific muscle groups can reduce musculoskeletal pain and encourage proper alignment. That, in turn, may help improve your posture. Next, it's said to help to heal and prevent back pain. Tight muscles can lead to a decrease in your range of motion, and when this happens, you increase the likelihood of straining the muscles in your back. And stretching can help heal an existing back injury by stretching the muscles. A regular stretching routine can also help prevent future back pain by strengthening your back muscles and reducing your risk for muscle strain. Next, it's also great for stress relief. When you're expecting stress, there's a good chance your muscles are tense, and that's because your muscles tend to tighten up in response to physical and emotional stress. So focus on areas of your body where you tend to hold your stress, such as your neck, shoulders, and upper back. 8. It can also calm your mind. Participating in a regular stretching program not only helps increase your flexibility, but it can also calm your mind. While you stretch, focus on mindfulness and meditation exercises, which give your mind a mental break. 9. It can also help decrease tension headaches. Tension and stress headaches can interfere with your daily life, and in addition to your proper diet, adequate hydration, and plenty of rest, stretching may help reduce the tension you feel from headaches. So let's now dive into different stretching techniques. There are several types of stretching techniques, including dynamic, static, ballistic, PNF, passive, and active stretching. The two most common forms of stretches are static and dynamic. So static stretches involve holding a stretch in a comfortable position for a period of time, typically between 30 to 60 seconds, and this form of stretching is most beneficial after you exercise. And I did not know this for the longest time, you guys, and neither did my cheer coaches, which they should have known. They would make us stretch before practice, and I think that's why one time I did pull my hamstring. And for any of my people out there who have pulled a hamstring before, you guys know it is not fun. It hurts so bad. I didn't recover from that hamstring pull for about a year. So you definitely want to make sure you properly warm up your muscles, especially your hamstrings, the right way. You know, you don't want to pull it. That's all I'm going to say. You don't want to experience that pain. Dynamic stretches, those are active movements that cause your muscles to stretch, but the stretch is not held in the end position. These stretches are usually done before exercise to prep your muscles, get your muscles ready for movement. Just get blood flowing, get that heart rate up. So again, use dynamic stretches before exercise to prepare your muscles, and then use static stretches after exercise to reduce your risk of injury. So you guys, I'm going to cut into a very brief break right now, and when we come back, more on stretching routines.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So I'm now going to dive into how to start a stretching routine. You may be somebody who has not stretched in months, maybe years. You'd be surprised. Actually, a lot of people who don't stretch at all. I'm going to call my brother out really quick. My brother is one of those people, and he has incredibly tight hamstrings. So yeah, brother, if you hear this, I'm calling you out. You need to start a stretching routine. But I think he will, because I did buy him a gym membership for his birthday, even though gyms literally just closed. I'm still forced him to do a stretching routine. But anyway, if you're new to a regular stretching routine, take it slow, okay? Take it slow. Just like other forms of physical activity, your body needs time to get used to the stretches you're performing. You also need a solid grasp of proper form and technique. Otherwise, you risk getting injured. You can stretch anytime during the day, and on days you exercise, aim for 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic stretching prior to activity, and then do another 5 to 10 minutes of static or PNF stretching after your workout. On days when you aren't exercising, still plan to schedule at least 5 to 10 minutes of time for stretching. And this can help improve flexibility and reduce muscle tightness and pain. When stretching, focus on the major areas of your body that help with mobility, such as your calves, hamstrings, hip flexors, and quadriceps. For upper body relief, try moves that stretch the shoulders, neck, and lower back. And again, hold each stretch for at least 30 seconds and avoid the bouncing, because the bouncing will put you at higher risk of getting injured. So, again, I'm going to share with you guys more risk and safety tips. So, stretching may not always be safe. If you have an acute or existing injury, only perform exercises by your doctor, okay? Not with your personal trainer saying, no, by your doctor, healthcare professional. If you have a chronic or nagging injury, consider talking with a sports medicine specialist or physical therapist to design a stretching protocol that fits your needs. And if you have any physical limitations that prevent you from properly performing a stretching exercise, consult your doctor for alternative exercises that can help increase your flexibility. Regardless of your fitness level, there are a few standard safety tips for stretching that you should follow. Again, the first one is, I'm going to reiterate myself, don't bounce. Years ago, ballistic stretching was thought to be the best way to increase flexibility. Now, experts suggest you avoid bouncing unless these types of stretches have been recommended to you by a doctor or a physical therapist. Don't stretch don't stretch beyond the point of comfort. While it's normal to feel some tension when stretching to a muscle, you should never feel pain. If the area you're stretching starts to hurt, back off the stretch, regress until you don't feel any discomfort. Also, don't overdo it. Like other forms of exercise, stretching puts stress on your body. And if you're stretching the same muscle groups multiple times a day, you risk overstretching and causing damage. So don't go into your stretches cold. Cold muscles are not as pliable, which makes stretching a lot more difficult. And the best time to stretch is after you work out. But if you're not exercising before performing your stretches, consider warming up for 5 to 10 minutes with some light cardio, such as walking or jogging. So again, the main takeaway when starting a stretching routine for all my newbies out there, whether you're new to exercise or a seasoned athlete, you can benefit from a regular stretching routine. By incorporating 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic and static stretches into your daily workout, you can increase your range of motion, improve your posture, and ease your mind. Who does not want that, okay? I know I want all of those things, and I'm sure you guys do as well. So I'm now going to be sharing with you guys 12 stretches to help relieve tight shoulders. I think this is something so imperative. Like I mentioned in the previous segment, technology is literally pulling our bodies forward. And a lot of times I'm noticing people are starting to have hunch postures. Their head is starting to protrude forward. Their shoulders are coming forward. Their backs are rounded, which causes discomfort in your low back. So I'm going to be providing you guys stretches to help relieve those tight shoulders for all of my people who type a lot on a computer all day or who are just always constantly texting. Tight shoulders can cause pain or stiffness in your neck, back, and upper body and limit your daily activities. Your shoulders may feel tight and stiff as a result of stress, tension, and overuse. Tight shoulders can be also caused by sitting for extended periods, incorrect sleeping positions, and injuries. Poor posture and improper alignment of your body can also play a part. It's important that you stretch your shoulders regularly to loosen and strengthen the muscles. Releasing tension in your body can improve your overall feelings of wellness too. And these stretches may help increase flexibility, extend your range of motion, and prevent injury. If you're short on time, try to do them in shorter spurts throughout the day. You can increase the number of sets you do as you gain strength and mobility over time. So the first one's going to be just shoulder raises. So while standing or sitting and with your arms by your side and a straight back, slowly lift your shoulders up toward your ears like you're shrugging. And I want you guys to try it actually as you're listening to me right now. I want you guys to try these stretches as I give you the verbal cues. So hold here for a few seconds and then slowly lower your shoulders back down. And repeat that for 5 times. Like right now, I'm doing it and my body's like loving it. Next, shoulder rolls. So maintain good posture while standing or sitting. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down, okay? And do this movement 10 times. I'm literally doing it, you guys. I'm doing it with y'all, so I hope you're doing it too. Also because I do feel some tightness in my shoulders. I don't know if it's because I just worked out my upper body yesterday, so I'm feeling a little bit of soreness, or because I'm just stressed out because what the heck is even 2020, all right? And then after you do your 10 times backward, then roll your shoulders up and forward and down and do that 10 times. So you're rolling. There we go. And then ear to shoulder. So again, sit with a straight spine and tilt your head toward your right shoulder. Go as far as you can without straining or lifting your left shoulder, right? So keep your shoulders leveled, just moving your head. Then deepen the stretch by using your right hand to gently pull down your head, okay? Hold there for 30 seconds and then repeat on the opposite side. This feels so good, you guys. I'm doing it right now and this feels absolutely amazing. Like I literally feel like I'm relieving so much, literally relieving stress off my shoulders. Next, we have the chin retraction. So this one's kind of funny. You're going to feel like you're like a chicken, like gobbling your head out, or like a turkey. So align your head, neck, and spine while standing or sitting. Then extend your chin in front of you as far as it will go without straining your neck, right? So extend that chin out like a chicken, a turkey would do. Then pull your chin back into your throat and do that a few times. This one definitely feels a little bit weird. I'm not going to lie. I'm like doing it right now and I'm like, my chin is hitting the microphone here. Next, the cross arm stretch. So for this one, bring your left arm across the front of your body at about chest height. Support your left arm with the elbow crease of your right arm or use your right hand to hold your left arm. And stretch out your shoulder and continue to face forward. And then you want to hold this stretch for about 30 seconds and then repeat on the opposite side. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel it. I definitely feel it in my shoulders. It feels amazing. I'm opening everything up. And then this next stretch, you may need a little bit of room. So make sure you're not doing this right next to somebody or right next to fragile items, because this is going to be including some standing arm swings. So get comfy. Give yourself some room right now. Stand with your arms by your side and your palms facing your body. Swing your arms forward to bring your arms as high as they will go without raising your shoulders. So just moving the arms. And then lower your arms back down and bring them as far back as you can. So get that full range of motion and keep the rest of your body still. So as you're moving your arms, you know, everything else should be stable. And you want to continue this movement for 1 minute. So I'm going to come to a very brief break. While we're in this break, I want you guys to continue doing these standing arm swings until we come back.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. I hope you guys were actually doing those standing arm swings this entire, what was it, like a minute or so break. And now, still stay in that same position where you're at. Give yourself some room. Make sure you're not doing these arm swings right next to like your child and like hit him in the face. Although if you did do that and it went viral, or that if you recorded yourself doing these and you hit your child, that video will probably go viral because people for some reason like to see other people in pain. Weird, right? Anyway, this next exercise or stretching is standing arm lifts. So again, stay in that same position. Give yourself some room. Make fists with your hands and bring them in front of your hips. Inhale as you lift your arms overhead so your hands come together above your head, and then lower back down to the original position. And then you repeat that 10 times. So up and down, right? Next, you have your wide-legged standing forward bend. So stand with your feet wider than hip distance with your toes facing forward. And then interlace your hands behind your back and open your chest. Engage your leg muscles and keep a slight bend in your knees. You don't want your knees to be locked for this one. Hinge at the hips to fold forward, bringing your arms over your head toward the floor, and allow your head to hang down, tucking your chin in slightly to your chest. And remain in this pose for up to 1 minute. And you're going to just feel everything just elongate, and you're going to feel so good after doing this one. Now, this next one is one of my favorites. I actually incorporate this dynamic movement for every single fitness class that I do in the very beginning because it just like opens up my spine so beautifully. And that is the cat-cow pose. So for this one, you're going to begin in tabletop position. So hands on the ground, place your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. On an inhale, fill your belly with air and let it sink down as you look up. And as you exhale, engage your abdominals, tuck your chin into your chest, and round your spine. Continue this movement for a few minutes, paying special attention to your shoulders. Really feel your shoulders open, feel that spine open. It's great. And you do that movement for about 10 reps, 5 to 10 reps. Next is the thread thread the needle. This one's another favorite of mine that I do with all of my classes. So you come onto all your fours with your hands directly under your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Lift your right hand and slowly bring it over to the left with your palm facing up. Rest your body on your right shoulder and turn your head to face the left. And make sure you're not sinking onto your shoulder, right? And you want to hold this pose for about like 30 seconds. Then slowly release and come back to the original position. And then repeat on the opposite side. Next, we have the reverse prayer pose. This one is another favorite of mine. It's incorporated in a lot of yoga classes as well. So you can do this pose while seated, standing, or in tree pose. So I'm seated right now and I'm doing this right now. So bring your hands behind your back with the back of your hands facing each other. So the back of your hands facing each other and your fingers facing down. From here, flip your hands in the other direction so your fingers are facing up, and then turn your palms to face each other. Press your palms together, draw your elbows slightly back, and open your chest, all while keeping your spine straight. And hold this pose for 30 seconds. There you go. Holding. I'm still holding. I really hope you guys are doing these poses because I'm doing them as I'm seated. Next, we have the cow face pose. This one a lot of you may be familiar with already. It's pretty common. I remember this stretch would be used in like my PE class in middle school and in high school. From a seated position, bring your left elbow up to the side of your head with your hand facing down your spine. Use your right hand to draw your left elbow over to the right as your hand moves further down your spine. If it's uncomfortable, you can bend your right arm and your right hand up to clasp your left hand. And then hold this pose for 1 minute and then repeat on the opposite side. And this stretch is really good for shoulders and for your triceps. So now that I share with you guys my top 12 favorite exercises to open up the shoulders, I want to now talk a little bit about the causes. Why do we get tight shoulders? Why do we feel a lot of stiffness in the upper part of our bodies? And there's many factors. There's several factors that cause tight shoulders, one of them including age. Many of the movements you perform in your daily life cause you to bend forward, and that strains your shoulders, your neck, and your back. You may create tension in your shoulders from everyday activities such as texting, sitting for extended periods, or carrying heavy bags. Weak muscles, poor posture, and incorrect alignment in your body can also lead to tight shoulders. And in some cases, muscle tension may also be the result of injury or chronic stress or an underlying condition like arthritis, gout, lupus, and Lyme disease. So, again, see your doctor if your shoulder tightens, don't improve once you start stretching, or if you're experiencing intense pain. You should also see your doctor if you begin to experience muscle weakness in your arms or start to have other symptoms such as fevers. Your doctor may help you to develop an exercise program, refer you to a physical therapist, prescribe medication such as muscle relaxers or pain relievers. They may also recommend hot and cold therapy or the use of a bandage or sling to limit movement. And in severe cases, you may require surgery. But again, those are in severe cases. So let's talk about prevention. How can we prevent tightness and discomfort in our shoulders? It's important to take care of your shoulders even if they aren't tight now. Exercising regularly is key to prevention. Stay active and engage in activities that require you to use your shoulders, such as swimming or yoga. Always drink plenty of water, especially when you exercise. And go for regular massages if it's possible. Or take a few minutes each day to do self-massage. You may use essential oils diluted in a carrier oil or a muscle rub for this. Avoid a sedentary lifestyle and stay as active as possible. Try to maintain good posture and proper alignment in your body. So right now I'm trying to pay attention to my body, as I go about my task of doing this podcast, because I slowly find myself hunching and, getting bad posture as well as I do the episode. If you sit for long periods, change your position often and get up for a short break every 30 minutes. That also, not only will that help with decreasing tightness in your shoulders, but that'll also help decrease tightness in your hip flexors, which is another really common discomfort problem area for many individuals. And of course, reduce your stress, because we literally carry stress and all of our worries in our shoulders. You can also, if you want to go through the alternative natural medicine route, purchase essential oils, carrier oils, or muscle rub as well. So again, the key takeaway for all of this is if you notice tension or tightness in your shoulders, it's important to take steps to relieve the tension as soon as possible. Early treatment can reduce your risk for complications such as frozen shoulder, which I've worked with many clients who have had frozen shoulder and it does not look fun. So it's a good idea to do exercises to loosen up your shoulders, even if you don't have severe tightness. Try to bring your awareness to this area of your body throughout the day and work on relaxing and releasing tension. If you're experiencing long-lasting or intense pain, see your doctor. They may recommend additional therapies or exercises. So with all of that being said, you guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode here at the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's conversation. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff, because that tremendously helps the show. And I'll catch you guys here for the next one.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.